If you want to learn how to do an accordion design, be sure to follow along. So the first thing we're going to do is lay our mask flat down on the surface and fold it halfway evenly. I'm going to make sure the straps are even in line. Once we have it like that, we are going to take the top of our mask and we're going to begin folding it side to side. Make sure you get those folds very tight and take your time. So it's going to be in the shape of a W. Keep on going till you get all the way to the bottom. All right, and if you see that it starts to get out of shape, just take it out and do it all over. Be sure to keep the fold going till you get to the end of the mask. Once the fold is complete, we're going to get ready to use our rubber bands. Now we're ready to use our rubber bands. As you see, I'm going to pick up my mask, and 1 inch apart from the top of the mask is where I'll begin to loop my first rubber band. So grab your first rubber band and begin to tie the rubber band on the top of the mask. You want to make sure you tie it tight, so I'm probably going to loop this maybe 3 to 4 times at the top. Grab your second rubber band and we're going to repeat the same thing 1 inch down. So again, I'm going to loop this about 3 to 4 times just to get a snug fit. Grab your third rubber band and do the same thing 1 inch apart and tie it 3 to 4 times tight at the bottom. Good job. Now take your fourth rubber band and do the same thing, but this time we're going to make sure we tie it at the bottom of the mask. Just like you see right there, give it about 3 to 4 loops, and it's set. Now that our mask is tied up, we are ready to dye. I prefer to dye on a cooling rack, but if you don't have one, you can definitely do it on napkins. So, take your first color and begin to squeeze it on your section highlighted right there. You want to make sure you squeeze a lot of dye, even if it starts to drip down. The key is to have our fabric absorb the color. Now, pick your second color, and we're going to do the same thing on the second section of our mask. Again, I'm going to make sure I add a lot of dye because I do want my fabric to absorb the color very, very well. Now take your last color of your kit and we're going to make sure that we start to apply the dye on the third section of the mask, as you see right there. So I'm going to make sure that I squeeze it very, very well because again, you want it to absorb all of that color. Now take the very first color that we used at the beginning of the mask and we're going to use that to fill in the next section of the mask. Again, give it a good squeeze to get that all absorbed into our fabric. Now let's continue the pattern and we're going to take the second color that we use and apply that on the end of the mask. Be sure to leave the straps blank because we are going to use a different color for the straps. We're going to take the third color that we use and we're going to apply it to the ear straps. Make sure you squeeze it very well, even if it drips down, because we want the straps to get all of that color. Let's turn that mask over and repeat the whole process one more time. All you have to do is just follow the pattern that you see when you flip the mask over. If you happen to have a different set of colors while doing this design, that's perfectly fine because the pattern will still be the same. Be sure to have every section absorbed with that color. And remember, do not forget about those straps. I made sure not to speed these scenes up because I really wanted you to follow along and get that step-by-step feel with me. Once your mask is done, be sure to put your mask into a Ziploc bag or a plastic bag overnight.
8 hours later.
Now let's remove our mask out of our plastic bag. Be sure to put on gloves because you do not want to dye your fingers. I'm going to run this over cold water, and once the water starts to ring clear, we're going to change the water to warm water. Now that my water is rinsing clear, I'm going to start removing the rubber bands off of my mask. You can recycle these rubber bands and use them for another project. Since the mask is very small, you can wash it in the sink with a little bit of dish detergent if you want to and air dry, or you can just grab the mask and wash it in the washer and dry it by itself. Look at what you just created. I hope you had fun creating with Splash Lab and enjoy your reusable face mask.